Reproduction is the way in which a species survives. Parents pass on their genes to their offspring, and this allows the species to carry on and survive. There are two different types of reproduction: sexual and asexual reproduction. The type you are probably most familiar with will be sexual reproduction. This is where the gametes, or sex cells, for a male and female fuse together. In animals, the gametes are the egg and the sperm cells, whereas in plants they are the egg and pollen cells. The forming of these gametes involves meiosis. This is a type of cell division which we are going to look at in just a moment. You've probably heard that sexual reproduction brings about genetic variation. This is said because the offspring have some genetics from their mother, but also some from their father. The offspring are not genetically identical to either parent. Asexual reproduction only involves one parent. This means that each offspring will be genetically identical to the parent, and there'll be no variation in genetics. This time, meiosis is not involved, only mitosis. Smaller organisms, such as bacteria, will tend to divide asexually, but also some larger plants can reproduce asexually. Meiosis is the cell division which is responsible for producing gametes. Mitosis wouldn't be suitable for gamete production, as mitosis forms cells with 46 chromosomes. In humans, all body cells have 46 chromosomes, or 23 pairs. Gametes need half this number, so that when two fuse together, the number is brought back up to 46 again. This is why sperm and egg cells only have half the number of chromosomes. The female gametes are formed in the ovary, while the male gametes are formed in the testes. In meiosis, the chromosomes are first of all replicated. This means that each chromatid is replicated, and the cells have double the genetic information it needs. The cell will then undergo two divisions to form 4 different gamete cells. Each gamete cell will have a random composition of genetics, and this is what first introduces variation. When fertilisation takes place, the chromosomes pair up and form the usual 23 pairs that we would expect. Each pair will have one chromatid from the father and one from the mother. Let's have a look at both types of reproduction and compare them. In sexual reproduction, the biggest plus is that it introduces variation into a population. This decreases the chance of diseases wiping out the entire populations of one species. Also, if environmental changes take place, some organisms will have a competitive advantage over others. This is the process of natural selection. Natural selection can be speeded up artificially by humans. This may be done to increase the production of certain foods. On the other hand, asexual reproduction only requires one parent, and so it is faster as no time and energy is spent on finding a mate. Asexual reproduction can only work well in favourable conditions. If the conditions are not suitable for a certain species, they may not survive due to no variation being introduced. Some organisms are able to reproduce using both types of reproduction. Malaria parasites will reproduce asexually inside the human host, but sexually in a mosquito. This difference is caused by a drop in temperature between the body of the human and the body of the mosquito. Fungi are yet another example. They reproduce asexually by spores. The fungal spores are produced by mitosis. However, sexual reproduction is done when conditions are not favourable. Two hyphae from two different fungi can join together and then undergo meiosis to produce haploid spores. These spores will then be genetically different and could be more likely to survive. In plants, sexual reproduction can also occur. Gametes are formed by meiosis, and the pollen and eggs must fuse together to form a new seed. However, a new plant can also be formed by mitosis, and so this is asexual reproduction. An example of this is when the bulbs of a plant divide by mitosis to form new plants.